So the hedge funds that are using data are in a like category of finance, which is called quantitative finance, right? So the way they're structured is completely different from the traditional asset manager. So when a traditional asset manager would have an analyst, a portfolio manager, a trader, and maybe like a risk manager, the quant fund would have a quant portfolio manager, a quant trader, and a quant analyst, right? So they are not the typical analyst that, you know, would know everything about, you know, balance sheet, valuation. They are data-driven profiles, right? So they are data science, they are like quants, they're like, you know, developers, like engineers, you know, AI, machine learning. So what they do is really they build all these data pipelines, taking in as much data as they can. Data can be traditional, price data, technicals, fundamentals, news feeds, like, you know, the typical data that you would find in places like Bloomberg, but then they would go and buy alternative data. So data that can give them an hedge that is not present in the market. So the option data is one of that, right? So if you can manage the option data, this is what we're trying to do here, is there's going to be a lot of information that you can get out of it that can then compensate your theory and your strategy. But like there's like other complicated data sets that they use, like, you know, like credit card information, geolocation data, sentiment data. They would, you know, during 2021, they would scrape Reddit to understand where the retail traders are trading so that they can place their bets against that. So obviously, this is something that they have access to because they have hundreds of PhD that work for them, and obviously they develop the technology. So like, yeah, so this is how kind of like they use the data. And then there's a big concept in finance, which is really that alpha would become beta once more people start using the same strategy, right? So for example, let's imagine that you use a momentum strategy and you use maybe moving averages and Fibonacci and whatever. And more traders start learning about this strategy and more traders start to use this strategy. The alpha that you develop with your strategy will eventually decay as more people are using the same signals. So, you know, hedge funds are trying to always develop an additional alpha that will stay in the market until more people will then find out about the hedge, and then they will start using the same strategy, and then they would, you know, refine the strategy all over again to be able to build that momentum on top of that strategy.